Today, we were hoping that we can give you a quick overview within maybe 30 minutes or so. We know you guys are busy, so thank you for joining us. This is the second of 2 webinars that we're doing for the new trustees this year. So what you'll be looking at are slides, and we'll be talking through, hopefully we won't be saying the same thing on the slides, so you'll get a little bit of a different flavor from each of us as we roll through. So Emily, you want to go ahead and get started?
Okay, as you all know, David Boren was our founder, and here are nice pictures. Our founder 33 years ago. He thought the education community was not honored as it should be, and there was not enough private support for public education. So he held a meeting of community leaders from across the state to discuss this situation. And a quote from him at that meeting we have continued to use through the years, and you all may have read this at some point too. David said at that meeting, "We all understand that symbols are important. The way we honor others and those we choose to honor reflect our values as a people, what we think is important, and how we define success. We honor leaders in sports, business, and entertainment, but we seldom stop to honor the great teachers and students who are determining our future. It is being number one in education that is going to determine the future of our state and the future of our country." End quote. So his words so inspired the community leaders that our foundation and our awards program were launched at that time, and for 2 clear reasons: to honor students and teachers who excelled, give them the recognition they deserved, and to honor academics, showing our values of people. And of course, we also hoped that raising the awareness of the importance of academic excellence would attract much more private support for public education. And so our mission became to recognize and encourage academic excellence in Oklahoma's public schools. And I think we do a pretty good job in keeping that out in front of us. It's on our letterhead and everywhere. And anytime we add new programs, we're very careful to make sure that it does fit within our mission.
So our Board of Trustees is 180 members large. Founder David Boren serves as the chair. I'm president. We have a president-elect and past chair who now serve 2-year commitments. We increased it from 1 year to 2 years to sort of allow a little bit more continuation. It's going to work really great for us, I think. We have an 8-member management committee that oversees the issues related to the day-to-day personnel, finance, and endowment. And then there is a 30-member executive committee, which includes all the members of the management committee plus others, and it's charged with overseeing the programs and support and development activities of the organization. So you'll see that there's a selection of academic all-staters and Medal for Excellence committee. That is done by another separate and independent group of 30, and they do not participate in any of the other functions. They're each year operate separately, and they have appointments for 3 years, as do the other committees that I mentioned earlier. On the very bottom line, you'll notice the 5 main activity focuses for the OFE: Academic Awards Program, the Early American History Programming in conjunction with the Colonial Williamsburg, the Boren Mentoring Initiative, Teacher Professional Development Support, and Public School Foundation Networking Support, in addition to the fundraising group committee work and board development committee work and a couple others there. So that kind of is in a nutshell of the basic overview of our organization.
Very good. At any rate, we'd like to show you this chart because it shows the program dollars we've awarded. We're not showing back through all the years, but we just started in 2010. And this shows that we have given $400-some thousand this year to our students and teachers across the state. And as you notice, it's kind of gone down a little bit from back in 2010. It all depends on how much money we receive from donors for our teacher grant programs. And this one year, if you notice, in 2014, that's quite high. We ended up getting about $60,000 that year from the Cherokee Nation for teacher grants. So that's why that year was a little higher. But one interesting quote, or not quote, but statistic we put together this year, and this is great. Since 1987, the foundation and its partners have invested more than $11.7 million in teacher grants, scholarships, and awards. directly benefiting Oklahoma public schools, teachers, and students. So that's something we can really, as a foundation, really be proud of.
So addressing the programming again, the Academic Awards Program is our flagship program. Many of you probably do know the annual Academic Awards Banquet and program rotates between Oklahoma City and Tulsa every other year. And since 1987, over $4.5 million has been given to outstanding students and outstanding teachers. OETA generously tapes and presents the program each year. And this year's academic banquet will be in Tulsa on May 18, 2019 at the Tulsa Renaissance Convention Center. $4.525 million has been given. The Medal for Excellence Awards, since 1987, OFE has awarded Medal for Excellence to 163 deserving teachers and administrators. And you can see there that there are $5,000 winners, and they're selected among 5 different areas each and every year. And the all-state scholarships for the high school students receive $1,000. There's 100 outstanding high school seniors. There's a quite rigorous application and selection process involving that selection committee I mentioned earlier, selects these outstanding students. And since 1987, 3,200 all-state scholarships have been awarded, representing 3,200 outstanding young men and women that have been launched from Oklahoma into the world and are doing really fabulous things out there.
Here are several pictures of Medal for Excellence winners, and quoting Donna Grottle is the one that's top on the right. And she has a neat quote I'm going to give you in a moment. But first of all, you may be aware that Donna Grottle is Oklahoma's Teacher of the Year. She won that last year, and so this year she's traveling the state. And she was our 2014 Medal for Excellence winner, and then she's also received 2 of our Fund for Teacher grants that you'll hear more about in a moment. But here's what she said about this Medal for Excellence program. Or the Academic Awards Program. The idea to honor students and teachers for their academic achievements was a stroke of genius. The thoughtful way in which that vision is carried out is having a dramatic impact on the people of our state. All staters are marked for life in a wonderful way. As teachers, our ultimate reward is in the success of our students. Knowing, however, that the Foundation for Excellence truly understands and cares about what we do and values our role in the education process means so much to all of us. You treat us almost as if we were royalty, and that is so humbling. That's nice of you all, isn't it? And so then this next slide, we have some pictures of academic all-staters, and we have a neat quote from an all-stater, Rachel Yock from Buffalo High School. This is what she said about receiving the award of being an academic all-stater and being at the awards banquet. The awards banquet was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We were treated like VIPs throughout the day. Being able to meet with David Bourne sparked a flame of passion for teaching and leaving the world a better place than we found it. The banquet itself was a ceremony of honor that emphasized the importance of greatness in the classroom and inspired us to strive for greatness in the future as well. Very nice. That's great. Now, this picture are 2 different pictures of All-State alumni and that interacted with at our banquet and with our All-Staters. The one on the right was at our banquet 2017, and the one on the left in 2018. In 2017, our theme was Be a Trailblazer, and that's when it hit us. It was a perfect fit to use 5 of our All-State alumni who were trailblazers to be the presenters for our Medal for Excellence Awards. And then Andrew Morris, our banquet All-State coordinator, he came up with the idea, if we're going to have those All-State alumni present, let's get them to interact with the current class of All-Staters. And so they put together a special discussion session, and that went great, and we love that. So we're going to continue that each year. It's great to have more interaction with our All-State alumni anyway.
So today there are over 200 public school foundations across the state who receive support from OFE in the form of encouragement and sharing of best practices and opportunities for networking with other foundation leaders across the state. The former outreach committee, led by staff member Donna Alexander and chaired by Trustee Josiano this year, voted to change its name last year to the Oklahoma School Foundations Network. So that name on the right there you see is the new name of that committee. And they feel like it more accurately reflects the current role of nurturing and connecting the existing foundations. We're not creating as many new ones as we are supporting and helping the existing group. The penetration of school foundations across the state, as you can see, many of the larger school districts have school foundations. Only above 10% of the smallest school foundations do. I'm sure you can understand reasons why. There's just not lots of money or support out there sometimes in creating nonprofits and sustaining them, but this is what it looks like across the state, just for your information. Methods for connecting people to people for the purpose of sharing resources and best practices involving that networking which also produces the fall forum training events, and they also select and award $1,000 annual awards for exemplary programming within the statewide local school foundations. And among some of those opportunities you saw there. This year, there are 5 regional meetings that have been set up across the state in lieu of the fall forum. So they're actually going to the people, and they are in Sulphur, Claremore, Enid, Lawton, and Weatherford, and they will be ongoing throughout the year. I think going to these locations, they're hoping that it'll make it easier for the people to attend, of course. Most are being conducted in the late afternoon as opposed to mid-afternoon, so helpful with work. And you'll note there that the first invitation to the Sulphur meeting is Set Your Sails. So supporting the local school foundations is easy for trustees. You can, in many different ways, you can participate. There is the committee that I mentioned, the Foundation Network Committee. It meets 4 times a year. I'm usually around the state or in Oklahoma City. Donna coordinates that. You can also support your local school foundation in the area that you live, serve on the board or provide resources, donate, encourage. That's a big one. Many of you probably have relationships with local teachers or local school board members or local community leaders, and do all you can to talk the school foundation up and promote that idea.
All right, our next 3 programs have to do with teacher training, and we have a quote from David McCullough, which is kind of the perfect quote as a lead-in. And many of you all will know that he's Pulitzer Prize-winning author, and he gave this quote at our banquet when he was our keynote speaker a number of years ago. And he said, "The great teachers are the teachers who have a love of what they are teaching. A very wise teacher once said, what counts in the classroom above all else is attitude, the attitude of the teacher, because attitudes aren't taught, they're caught. When a teacher comes into that classroom filled with excitement and a love for the subject matter, that's what you catch. So essential to acquiring that love and having that love happen is to really know your subject."
So another one of our programs is related to the Colonial Williamsburg Teacher Institute. The late Ed Julian, the third related to Mustang Fuel, originally connected OFE with Colonial Williamsburg. He was a member of the Williamsburg board, and he heard that they wanted to begin a summer institute. And he felt that Oklahoma teachers should, of course, be offered the opportunity to attend, and so he offered to raise funds and help them go. So OFE is very grateful to the Julian family for helping sustain this very fine partnership that we've had for many years, and the wonderful opportunities that Oklahoma teachers have had across the state. And you can see on this map the places that since 1993 teachers have attended the Colonial Williamsburg Institute from, and those school districts that have received a lot of support that the teachers bring back and share with their colleagues. 854 teachers so far. The next slide is the pictures of those that they have, teachers that have brought back. I wanted to share with you a quote from past teacher attendee Helen Cheney Hackney of Wilson Public Schools, which sort of gives a good idea of what teachers think about when they study there. Colonial Williamsburg transformed me from a lousy social studies teacher into the most creative teacher with a love of history and geography. When I realized that my feet walked the same path as our forefathers walked, and my hands touched the same things as they touched, I could not wait to share my Colonial Williamsburg experience with my students. And as you can see, there is a very fine resource library available. These are some videos that are available that teacher attendees have access to, and many relate to historical reenactment videos. The resource library, of course, is free. Many attendees often share those resources with their colleagues, and as you can imagine, it contains excellent student learning materials. And there, as it says, there are over 200 plus resources. So the teachers that attend decide to share their knowledge at an annual event known as Colonial Day at the Capitol. And around 500 Oklahoma fifth graders participate each year from around 7 elementary schools. OFE facilitates that event, and it's held each year in February. It's very popular, very exciting, and very colorful and creative. And these are just a few pictures, as you can see, from last year's Colonial Day at the Capitol. I think teacher Dessa Weber, who was a Colonial Williamsburg attendee, and the teacher at Tulsa, Kendall Whittier, sums it up pretty well with this quote. Coming to Colonial Day at the Capitol was an experience my students will carry with them forever. Just experience the physicality of the Capitol. Seeing the 3 branches of government at work is something you cannot replicate in the classroom. My students were so energized by this learning experience that they sang the Bill of Rights rap at the top of their lungs all the way home to Tulsa. My Oklahoma Achievement Test scores in social studies set a school record, and I now teach 6 sessions of 5th grade social studies and love every minute. So that's just fantastic. The upcoming Colonial Day, scheduled for February 8th, will celebrate our 26th year of the Summer Teachers Institute. And we've just learned that our historical character from Colonial Williamsburg this year will be a young Martha Washington. Benjamin Franklin, as you can see, attends every year and is always very popular with the students. Mr. Stephen Smith from Tulsa always makes sure that Ben attends. He's a period enactor.
Now, our second teacher professional development program is teacher grants that we raise, and then we send teachers to national conferences in their program area. And when we saw, you see how wonderful Colonial Williamsburg was for 5th grade history teachers, that's when we decided we needed to raise money and be able to send teachers in all curriculum areas. So this has been a very successful program, and the teachers love it. This gives you a sense of how much money we have given over the past, since 2006 in this program. And then the numbers at the bottom in black are the number of teachers that have received grants. And the one 2014, 153,000, that's when the Cherokees gave us 60-some thousand that year for teachers in northeastern Oklahoma. At any rate, here it shows you a map of where all teachers have come from. And so you can see that it's only in certain areas. So this is one of our challenges. We need to find donors. Mostly the donors choose what geographic area they want the teachers that they're giving money for, where they're from. So we're needing to find donors that will help teachers from across the state receive these teacher grants. That's one of our challenges. Now, a third teacher professional development program we have is called Fund for Teachers. And this is a fabulous program. It's national. It has 16 partners across the country. And here in Oklahoma, our partners with Tulsa Community Foundation and OFE. And we were very lucky in that we were the first state to have the opportunity to have this program. Before we came on board, it was just like in cities, Boston, New York, Houston, and such like that. But here's this is what it is. It's self-designed professional learning opportunities, direct grants to teachers, and an individual teacher can receive up to $5,000 and a team of teachers up to $10,000. So with that amount of money, we are literally sending teachers all over the world. And you all, this picture on the left is one we love. This was the group that went to Kenya, one of our first years. And this little boy, you see, he's reaching up and teaching this teacher's heart. He's touching her heart because he has never seen a white person before, and he wants to see if she has a heart like he does and it beats like she does. So that's kind of a remarkable picture. And a quote again from Donna Grottle, who has received 2 of our Fund for Teacher grants. And she went to Kenya and built aquaponics system and such. What she says is, Fund for Teachers revolutionized my teaching career. I know I would not be standing here as Oklahoma Teacher of the Year without having the opportunity that you provided for me and my students. So that's quite remarkable what Donna has done, and then taken her students back to build the system and keep improving it. Quite amazing. Now here's a map of Oklahoma that shows you teachers who have received these grants. And you see, a teacher anywhere in the state can apply. So we have a larger representation across the state. And one of the things that's interesting, you all, is that the applications are a blind read. So the selection committee does not know their name or what school district they're from, but yet still we've had a pretty nice balance across the state. Now, here's how much money we've been receiving bridge funding from the national program. And you can see that very first year in 2006, when they wanted us as a state to come on to this program, to be a part of it, can you believe they gave us $428,000 and we were able to send 165 teachers? And so each year they've lessened this amount. The part in red that says TCF, that's Tulsa Community Foundation. We have an endowment over there that gives some money each year, but not enough to really sustain this. So our goal, and the national wants us to raise our own money. So our goal is to raise money here in Oklahoma so that we could send, I'm hoping, 60 to 70 teachers every year. That would be absolutely wonderful. All right, now moving to another possibility of teacher professional development. When we saw these 2 statistics, 55,000 Oklahoma English learner students and only 42% of them are not graduating, we became very concerned about those 2 statistics, knowing that they're not good for the students and the economy of our state. You all, it's very amazing to know, though, that more than 100 different languages are spoken in Oklahoma schools. So as we thought about this, we began to research what we could do. We've got to improve that 42% not graduating. And so how can we give professional development to teachers to help better assimilate English learner students into the classrooms? Because we know, and we all know, yeah, the quicker students adapt to school, the better students they will become. Now, sending just a few teachers to the national conference, that's not going to solve the problem because we have the number of teachers is too great. So we began talking to district English learner coordinators, and they all agree there's enormous need for some type of program so that these classroom teachers can become better educated of how to integrate the students. And so we're partnering with a company, 21st Century Technology, Next Thought, out of Norman, who creates platforms that have both content and community. So we're wanting to connect these teachers all together with each other all around the state. And we have a content committee made up of professionals, the English learner district coordinators, and professors from OU, OSU, UCO, and Rose State. And so we're putting together a great team to create a really good platform of information. Our first year, we're going to do a pilot program with 20 schools across the state that have high English learner student enrollment. And we're going to use college English learner professors are getting lined up to serve as coaches for this. So we're still raising money for this pilot program. We hope to kick it off next fall. So if we have 75,000 still to raise. So if any of y'all know of any individual or company out there that could be interested in this, let us know. We'd love to connect with them. Is that Ruben?
Yes. You have 75,000 raised. What's the budget that you require for the pilot program.
A pilot program, it is something like 140,000. See, so we've got 65,000 raised, and we still have 75,000 to go. So any help from anyone, that would be great. You know, everyone that's a part of this program really sees the enormous need for it. But it's taken us longer to raise the money than we thought it would. But we're very eager to get it all together and to get it started next fall.
So the David and Molly Boren Mentoring Initiative is another component of our programming, and you can see the mission there for that. It is led by Director Beverly Woodrum and a staff member, and it launched in 2006, the year of our foundation's 20th year anniversary. And it was established because of the important role that mentoring plays in education success of young students, as well as that year to honor David Borden and his lifelong passion for mentoring. 1 out of 3 students grows up without an adult role model in his or her life, and we were very pleased that the OFE Boren Initiative is considered now the go-to place for information about mentoring in Oklahoma. We've done a really great job of letting folks know through our website and through Beverly's work that our intent is to help coordinate and promote and encourage mentoring. And as you can see in the 4 descriptors on this screen, the role of the mentoring program is very much patterned similar to the Oklahoma School Foundations Network, that of providing information about existing resources, networking assistance, and applauding excellence in programming. Oklahoma's Mentor Day is held each January, and it honors outstanding mentors from across the state who have been nominated by their affiliated mentoring organizations. And last year, there were 74 mentors who were recognized before an audience of around 350 at the University of Oklahoma campus. And David Boren gave a very inspiring keynote speech. Mentors even brought their mentees for a day of celebration and educational activities and fun. And the mentees, those little guys, were so thrilled to be on a college campus, many of them for the very first time. The 2019 Oklahoma Mentor Day will be on January 18th at Oklahoma State University this year. Another event that the Mentoring Initiative works with is the Coaches Mentoring Challenge. It's a 4-month campaign that recruits coaches who in turn encourage mentoring in their communities through social media. Last year, more than 800 coaches were recruited, and we're hoping that this year there will be a similar high number of mentors that sign up through that challenge.
All right, this closes out our different programs, but we also thought on this webinar we should give you a little bit of information about our finances and fundraising. It's important to share some of this. So our very first one, our fundraising activities. First of all, we have a major gift fundraising campaign. The major gifts are those who give $5,000 and up, and our trustee Lisa Pryor is our chair for that. So we'll be getting that started fairly soon. But we have 2 direct mail campaigns, and you all as trustees, you received the first letter. The annual campaign starts in the fall, and then we'll have a second direct mail campaign in the winter, probably will come out in February or very 1st of March for the banquet. So that's our main fundraising activities. And now this gives you an idea of our revenues and expenses. Of course, we've got to have our revenues exceed our expenses. And so as you look across this from 2009, you see that we sure enough we have exceeded our expenses each year. And I'll have to admit, you know, our fiscal year ends in June. And so we're kind of always holding our breath till June 30th, you know, whether we will have higher revenues than expenses, but it's gone well for us. Now, we have got we have several endowments that are so important to our program. We have an academic awards program endowment that's at $6,500,000, and this started years ago in about 1988. Some of you all will know of Walt Helmrich in Tulsa, Helmrich and Payne Company, and he and Bill Kerr, they wanted this academic awards program to have to be able to endure, to be able to be lasting, and so they started an endowment, and they found 11 donors to give $50,000 each. So you all from 1988, you know, that has grown, and we've had other donors to the endowment as well. The other endowment is Born and Mentoring Initiative. When we started that program on our 20th year, we were encouraged to start an endowment. So that also helps to pay the expenses of our mentoring initiative. For you all really involved in nonprofits, you may know that there's kind of a saying out there, not a saying, but a rule that your program expense, should be way more what you spend for programs than what you do for G&A. That G&A should not surpass 25% of your total year's budget. And so you can see that we were at 8% this past year. So we're doing pretty well with how our funds are divided. We're very pleased about that. Now, just to give you a sense about how our major gift campaign comes out, you can see the contributions here in 2018. We really raised the most we've raised over the last number of years. You see at $264,000, and we had 30 donors to give that amount. And as you notice, 30 is about our usual number of who are our donors for our. Now, this again is the $5,000 and $10,000 gifts or more. Our goal for this would be 300,000, and it would be great if we reached that. But we're tickled that we got 264,000. That does really well.
So how can you help? Emily mentioned that you would have received your annual contribution letter, and I mentioned that you can always support the local school foundations and encourage them in any way you can. We also hope that as you go about talking to friends and neighbors and colleagues and friends, that you speak about the good work of OFU, and in that, think about potential donors. As I mentioned, we've got a very involved fundraising committee, several people that like to do that, and they'd be very happy to receive any suggestions or just names of people to research if you think they might be potentially interested in supporting education, particularly excellence in education along our mission and along our many network opportunities. You should have received an email about volunteer opportunities, I believe from me, around October 15th. And if you haven't returned that, we encourage you to respond and let us know of your interest and feedback, ideas. So there are various committees, there are various opportunities to get involved, not just financial, of course, but of course you'll receive invitations to OFC events and meetings, and do feel free always to invite others that you think might be interested. You can always support the Born Mentoring Initiative by promoting youth mentoring in your area too. So we are in our 33rd year, and there's pictures of the 5 major programs we've addressed earlier. We are so glad you're on the board. We're so interested in getting you connected into the right areas to best use your talents. We know you are busy people, and we know that you don't join things just to sit around and watch, that you do get involved, and we'd love to connect you in just the right place for you. So let us know how we can help do that. And welcome. And I hope this has been helpful.
All right, so this does complete our webinar, and we'll take just a few minutes. If any of y'all have any questions for us, we'd be glad to respond, or any comments. Any questions from anyone? And I'm curious, Philip, did you get on board? Is Philip Reed a part of us? He was going to join at some point, but he may not have been able to. So we just have the two of you then, Jean and Ruben. Any questions you have, or do you feel like you have a better overall sense of the foundation now? We hope.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Well,
this is Bridger. I've been on. I joined a few minutes late.
Oh, Bridger, we're glad that you're on. Right, we didn't know that you'd come on. We're so glad that you were able to be a part of it too. You all, Bridger Cox is one of our academic all-state alumni. So he was in that one of those pictures that helped with the banquet this past year, presented one of the Medal for Excellent winners. Were you on in time to see your picture? You probably didn't come on at that point.
Yes, no, I was.
Oh,
Thank you.
good. And did you have fun with the discussion session with the all-staters? Was that a neat experience?
It was. I'm glad you said you're going to continue that, because I think they got a lot out of it, and it was kind of fun to participate in.
That's just great. Well, again, thank you from me.
Well, and
Yes.
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to thank you for you all joining us and being a trustee, and then I'll pass it back to Kathy to close us out then.
Well, and I also noted that Philip Reed looks like he's been listening in, even though we can't hear him. I think he texted a second ago. So, Philip, thank you as well for joining us today. And Bridger, thank you as well. If no one has any other questions, I guess we'll conclude. And do feel free to contact Emily or me or anyone else at the office with any questions or any ideas. And please let us know how you'd like to get more connected with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank